So Academics and Meek are beefing again, and it's because of the Diddy situation. I'm sure you guys know Diddy's been accused of quite a few things since last November. Trying to blow up Kid Cudi's car, trafficking, shootouts, the whole 9 yards. You know, when Diddy called his record label Bad Boy Records, you know, I didn't actually, I thought it was just like a little cute name. I didn't realize Diddy was actually like a bad boy for real. I didn't realize Diddy was actually out here wilding. But apparently he is. Now, there was a recent case in which a disgruntled and possibly, alleged assaulted producer came out and accused Diddy of sexual misconduct. And in the lawsuit, this individual decided to name the fact that Diddy had sexual relationships allegedly with Meek Mill and Usher. The case reads as, on February 27th, producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed a $30 million civil suit against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging the hip-hop mogul of sexual misconduct and a host of other illegal activities. It's the 5th lawsuit against Diddy since his ex Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed a suit against him in last November, accusing him of several misdeeds, including sexual assault, physical abuse, and sex trafficking. The ensuing lawsuits alleging a pattern of criminal wrongdoing concealed by his power and resources have marred Combs' reputation. Here's where it involves Meek Mill. It's no one's job at the courts to decide the validity of Jones's claim, but what's going on in the court of public opinion is disgusting. The assertions against Diddy are revolting, disturbing, and disappointing, but to some, they're entertaining. In a portion of the lawsuit, Jones claims that Combs told him that he had sex with musicians Meek Mill and Usher. The clues in the document's footnotes essentially reveal their identity. Jones's laundry list of accusations, which are as serious as it gets, have since been trivialized by gossip bloggers seeking headlines and childish homophobic reactions by onlookers. Meek wasn't accused of any misconduct and was an ancillary footnote of the lawsuit, but somehow Jones's secondhand claims about Meek have become the headline takeaway, an indictment of our collective value system. Now, I'm very aware of the public's disgusting reaction to Meek Mill. I've seen some funny ones like the Meat Chasers, Cream Chasers. I've seen some funny ones. I've seen them, but I'm watching this too. It is funny. What the fans have come up with is hilarious, in light of all of this news. My issue with the situation, though, is that in this article, a lot of the blame for what's going on with Meek's publicity surrounding this is being entirely blamed on the fans. And the reality is Meek Mill has been tweeting up a storm. And in the midst of his Twitter war that he was waging, there's basically a crusade. He called out Academics for making a video about the lawsuit and basically clowning the situation and accusing Meek of being gay.
Intoxicated. Yo, chat, I did not say it was Meek. Y'all, Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he had engaged in sexual intercourse with rapper 5, that's redacted. Look, 5, he's a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Yo, Meek, we were playing around with that Michael Rubin, but if you've been tweeting about everything on planet Earth. If you don't get a Twitter rant saying you about to get Lil Rod killed, you about to shoot up his block, blow his mama's house up, this is saying that you and Diddy were fornicating. What the I can't even imagine such debauchery and such happening to a gangster rapper like Meek.
No, I don't think I have to explain that Meek Mill didn't take that video too kindly. Meek Mill wasn't too happy about what Academics said, and Meek Mill, as he usually does, started a Twitter war with Academics, as he does with the majority of his adversaries. He goes to Twitter. Meek says this: Academics, didn't I tell you to stop playing with my name? I don't know what I'm gonna do when I actually see you. It's gonna have a combination to it though. As we see here, they're going back and forth, with Academics saying, wait, did you blame me for what a lawsuit said? Like I just made it up? LOL, no way. And as we scroll, it's just more and more and more just warfare. Just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. Now it gets significantly worse. And the reason why it gets significantly worse is because Meek started to make threats. Now Meek, you know you're working on prison reform in Pennsylvania, specifically in Philly. You know this. Why are you threatening Ack? Now, Meek made some colorful, possibly rainbow-inspired accusations against academics. Now, I'm not saying Meek is gay. I am not, because I know y'all, you saying Meek gay? I didn't say Meek was gay, okay? I did not say Meek was gay. But Meek Mill did not only threaten to put hands on academics, he also threatened to, point particular appendages at academics. I'm not lying. I'm being for real. Watch, since y'all, you said, watch. Meek Mill says this: I'ma just beat you up, light shit, don't make it a threat. ... Was there a space between the dots? What's wrong with you, Meek? You working under these white men to destroy black men, I'ma take the hit for it. And I'ma give you a chance to put your hands up. Yo, Meek. You know what, actually, I was going to sit here and make fun of Meek for using exclamation points under everything he says on Twitter. But what I'm realizing is Meek Mill is in character. Meek Mill is Meek Mill. He's screaming in the music and he's screaming on Twitter. You got to respect the consistency. So Meek goes on to say this, and this is where, things get a little bit rainbow inspired, right? A little bit zesty. Meek says, I'm just going to pull up, shoot a video, piss on your steps, and taunt you like the geek you are. We have another space with 3 dots and then a space in between. Meek, you are a rapper. You should be one of the most literate humans on earth as a rapper. You write for a living. Why am I seeing grammatical errors here? And if I see you, I'll tell you to put your hands up and take it from there. Now, Meek, this is why I'm saying this particular tweet is a little bit zesty, rainbow inspired, possibly homosexual in nature, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, Meek, listen to me, right? You're fighting accusations of you being a homosexual. Now, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but that's currently what you're at war against. You just threatened to go to a grown man's crib, take your Johnson out, equipment, your meat, whatever you want to call it, because they're calling y'all the meat chasers now, so we're going to call it the meat. You're threatening to pull your meat out, bro. Piss on this man's steps and taunt him while your Johnson is out. Now, Meek, why would you threaten to go to this man's crib, pull your pants down, piss on his steps, and then taunt him? You didn't say anything about putting your meat back in your pants, bro. You didn't clarify that part. So now I'm gonna assume your meat is still out. But I'm gonna take the hit for the sake of entertainment's sake. You haven't put your Johnson away in this tweet, bro. You then go on to say when you see him, you will tell him to put his hands up. Now, I'm looking at this from an academic's perspective, right? I'm a YouTuber. I go outside my crib, I see a rapping ass nigga pissing on my steps. I recognize him. It's Meek Mill. I say, Meek, what the fuck are you doing? Meek Mill, you in this tweet would taunt me. You haven't pulled your pants up, and then you said you would tell academics to put his hands up and take it from there. Now, from an onlooker's perspective, we have a grown man with his pants down and his meat showing, pointing his meat at another grown man, telling him to put his hands up. Meek, could you possibly maybe see how this could be interpreted as adjacently gay? Maybe, possibly. I'm not putting it on you. I'm not, pause. Ooh, I'm not putting it on. See, I'm not insinuating this. There we go. Since this is quite the conversation. I'm not inferring you're gay. I'm not insinuating you're gay, but I am saying this tweet is kind of zesty given the accusations you're fighting. I don't think that you should be threatening to beat up a YouTuber while you're fighting for prison reform. And I don't think you should be threatening to urinate on this man's steps and then threaten to tell him to then also say that you would tell him to put his hands up if you just so happen to see him while pissing on his property. Now, I don't know what you mean specifically by put his hands up. Would you hold him at meat point? You know what I'm saying? Would you have your meat out holding him at meat point? These are the questions I have to be asked. I'm taking a hit for the sake of y'all watching this video. Would you hold academics at meat point? Or would you tell him to put his hands up like this? Because either way, you pissing on the nigga's steps and then like fist fighting him, whether your pants are up or down, is like crazy, bro. That's just gross. Like, come on, you ain't even wash your hands, you ain't even sanitize. Like, bro, come on, be civilized. Either way, this story sounds really, really bad. Meek, the reason why I'm highlighting this particular tweet, and I done made myself look crazy in the last 25 to 30 seconds talking about this. The reason why I'm highlighting this tweet is because this is a perfect example, Meek, of why you need to stop tweeting. Please just stop. Meek, this has been a constant theme in your career for almost a decade. You've been tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting about things that people should not know about. For example, Meek tweets about needing a vibrator panty set from Amazon. I need vibrating panties with a remote. LOL. They on Amazon? ? LOL. We got a guy named Korn responding saying, you gotta be getting held hostage when you tweet stuff like this, cause ain't no way you're this consistent. Now, as Meek is fighting sexual deviant allegations, these tweets are definitely coming to haunt him. This is why I say don't tweet if you're a public figure unless you're tweeting about a project, music, a movie, a YouTube video. Don't tweet unless absolutely necessary. Unless you have to. If you have to tweet, fine. But if not, observe. Just watch other people. Twitter is one big train wreck for you to watch. Don't participate though. Like, don't join in. We got more tweets, by the way. Meek also says the sex life in ATL is dark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ks. Okay. World LOL. The sex life in ATL is a dark 7K world. LOL shit. Get too scandalous. Sorry, I'm a little bit illiterate. Shit get too scandalous and dirty. 2021, I'm getting saved. Oh yeah. By the way, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laughing emojis, right? Meek, please. Meek, as a Drake fan, I'm begging you. I'm not a Meek fan. I'm not a Dream Chaser. They calling them the Meat Chasers now and the Cream Chasers, which is crazy. I'm not a Dream Chaser. I'm more of an OVO kind of guy. Meek, please stop tweeting. If there was anything you could learn from your biggest adversary and your now friend, Aubrey Graham, stop tweeting, please. There is power in silence, bro. Meek is one of those people that thinks that there's like weakness in silence. And how we know that is because Meek be yelling in his, Meek be screaming. Like, why you don't have to be screaming. Be screaming. Meek, you don't have to do this. You don't have to scream in your music, number one. You don't have to keep tweeting. You don't have to keep screaming. You don't have to keep giving us all this unsolicited information about your sex life. You don't have to do this. Now, Meek and Academics' beef takes entertaining turns. Meek allegedly has the police called to Academics' house.
I swear, I promise you. If Meek ain't snitch on me, I swear I'm done rap. I didn't see that. Man, look, nigga, I got it. Look. I might have to, I don't even know if I got to cut the stream. Boy sent the police to my house talking about what's his addy. Look, I promise you. Look. Nigga, look. Look. Police. The sent police to my crib. All that gangster is talking sent police to my crib, gang. This is crazy. All that gangster like he's the biggest killer. The governor calling him, he sent police to my crib. I swear. Bro, this nigga Meek, you a whole snitch, my nigga. Like, this shit is crazy. This is holy, like, my nigga, like, if you was on whatever shit, nigga, you got my address. Why you over here tweeting the shit, nigga? Bro, yo, give me a second, man. Let me go handle this shit. This nigga really got police at my crib.
Now, with police being called to Academics' house, this beef is just taking an unbelievably immature and dangerous turn for the worst. It should not be escalating to this point. It's the beginning of 2024. We're just starting to get through the year. This is too much, bro. This is way too much. Now, I don't know if Meek actually called the police to Academics' crib, but it's not impossible, and I'll tell y'all why. The reason being is because Meek got on Twitter and admitted to telling the governor of Pennsylvania that DJ Academics is the reason why Meek's friends are dead. Not lying to you. Meek says this: "The governor called me and checked me. I took it down after I explained to him this is the guy that powered the biggest rap beefs that killed some of my friends playing undercover." Academics' response to it was, "You still getting told what to do by white men. Just stop cosplaying as a gangster. We respect the reform shit you do, but talking like you're anything else is just laughable. And plus, you still ain't addressed the nigga who sued you and said the shit." Now, Meek isn't being sued as far as we can tell. Apparently, it's a case where Diddy is being sued, but Meek Mill and Usher were named as people who Diddy had sexual relationships with, and this person who sued Diddy felt the need to explain that to the court for whatever reason. Great job. Great job, by the way, on that guy, like spilling the beans on other people's sex lives, but whatever. My issue with Meek here is this. I think Meek is the victim here. I think Meek, in terms of public perception and response, is the victim. Meek woke up to the entire internet making up narratives about his personal and sex life without his consent, without him knowing any of that. He just woke up to his life being in jeopardy, his privacy in jeopardy, the assumptions people make about him in jeopardy, his reputation in jeopardy, because someone decided to file a lawsuit against Diddy and decided to say, oh, by the way, unrelated to what I'm upset about, but Meek Mill might have had sex with Diddy. Usher too. Don't you want to know about that? So Meek Mill is currently, as a Philly goon, as a street nigga, obviously fighting pretty serious accusations of him having sexual relationships with men. Now, we're in 2024. It's perfectly fine to be gay. But I understand that as black men, our community has not moved toward that level of progressivism yet. We're not there yet, okay? If somebody says you're gay and they've got substantial or somewhat level of evidence to prove it, you're cooked. You're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. I could see why Meek Mill does not want any of this near him. The problem is, Meek Mill is handling it in the absolute worst way. Meek goes on Twitter and goes to war with Academics. Now, if you have not watched Academics consistently in the last 2 to 3 years, you would know, do not beef with him. It's not worth it. You're not going to win. It's not possible to beat him in an internet beef. You're not going to win. Lil Baby tried and failed. Plenty of other rappers, Glorilla, they've all tried and failed. You're not beating Ac. Instead of ignoring Academics' video, in which he poked fun at the lawsuit but didn't actually accuse Meek of anything, Meek bites the bait hook, line, and sinker and goes in. Which reminds me of back when he had beef with Drake. And Drake shouted out A-R-Ab. A-R-Ab goes on Vlad TV because of the publicity. Vlad asks him, do you think Meek can bounce back from what's going on with the whole back-to-back thing? You think Meek can bounce back from that? A-R-Ab says, I don't know. I don't think so. It's been too long. Meek goes on stage and says, man, fuck A-R-Ab. So now Drake, who's probably tired of Meek at this particular point in time, it's 2015, tired of Meek, probably wishes Meek would disappear, instigates, through his diss track, a beef between two street goons, two Philly goons, A-R-Ab and Meek, instigates it, and it almost went perfectly according to plan. Because Meek bit the bait. Bit the bait, hook, line, and sinker. Now, what if, in an alternate timeline, A-R-Ab and his guys take Meek's diss the horribly wrong way, decide to reciprocate the energy times 10, and now they're killing each other in Philly. Now, Drake somewhere laughing in Toronto with his biggest nemesis at the time, Meek Mill, embroiled in a gang war with A-R-Ab over a line in a song in conjunction with an interview. Meek, you have to stop responding to the utmost extent, to the most minute of triggers. Now, I understand this isn't a minute trigger, but you gotta understand this shit can spiral way further than where it needs to go, right? Meek Mill, by virtue of getting into a tweet war with Ac and just tweeting up a storm in general, has completely taken attention off of two people here. Usher, the other musician named as a sexual partner, alleged sexual partner of Diddy. Usher, everyone's forgotten that Usher's involved in this lawsuit, or at least named in this lawsuit. Everyone's forgotten. Diddy, the main one who's being accused, everyone's forgotten that Diddy's involved. Everyone's focused on Meek Mill. They're calling him Meat Mill, Freak Mill. They're calling the Dream Chasers the Meat Chasers, the Cream Chasers. Meek, there is power in silence, Meek. That's all I'm trying to get Meek. There's power in silence. Now, Meek and Academics' beef goes way back, all the way to the Drake days, right? All the way back to the days when, you know, Drake had absolutely bodied Meek. And Meek, for some reason, thought that the internet wasn't really against him. Drake is just paying bots. So he basically tries to blackmail and strong-arm Academics into deleting the bots, not realizing, bro, everyone thinks you lost. Black people think you lost. Street people think you lost. Hood people think you lost. White people think you lost. Everyone thinks you lost. L's in the chat. L's. You took L's. You took mad L's. Meek interprets this as the machinations and schemes of Aubrey Graham, which I can't really blame him because Drake was very calculated in that beef. From the cover art of the song to when he dropped the song, the lyrics in the, like, everything was calculated to elicit certain reactions from Meek, to create a certain vibe and aesthetic and mystique around the song to make it hit even harder, to garner and gain more attention to it. It was even structured as a hit record to where Meek couldn't escape it. So with that being said, Meek and Academics obviously need to stop beefing over this petty nonsense. They need to stop beefing. Police showing up to the crib, lying to the governor about this guy getting people that you know killed. You know, the back and forth between Meek and Ac. I mean, this shit has to stop. Meek is the victim in terms of the public's response, in my opinion. But I don't think Academics did anything particularly wrong. He reported on the news, did it in a funny way. Meek got mad because Meek and Ac have had problems forever. And I don't think they're ever going to be cool again. Meek has to learn to just chill. You're doing too much. You deleted 8 tweets. The governor is calling your phone and checking you. You're threatening to urinate on this man's steps and then hold him at, I guess, meat point. I mean, Meek, you're all over the place. You've got to chill. Like I said, Meek, you got to take it out of the playbook of your biggest nemesis, Aubrey. He doesn't tweet. He barely... Drake talks a lot more recently than he ever has before. But like even just 2 years ago, it was rare to see Drake post anything. On Instagram, on his story, Drake didn't talk much. He didn't do interviews much. Now he's everywhere, but before you barely heard a peep from him. Barely. And whatever you did hear about Drake that was malignant or disrespectful, it was from someone else dragging him in. Kanye West on his 1 million tweet rant. Drake this, Drake that, Drake. Meek, you're giving the people ammunition. So all I gotta say is, Meek, just relax. Just chill, relax, take your time. Delete all your tweets. Step away from social media. And when some shit like this happens again, hopefully it doesn't, because it's like a once in a blue moon kind of thing for rappers, just don't say anything. Because right now, Usher is using you as a human shield. Usher never talks. But Usher ain't talking now. Diddy, I forgot Diddy was even the focus of this lawsuit because of you, Meek. You're doing all this tweeting and taking the energy and attention away from the people who actually need to have a microscope put on them, which is Diddler, Diddy, Puff. Diddy in a bunker somewhere. Usher's doing dance moves behind you, dodging the few stray bullets that are passing you because you're taking the majority of them with this Twitter shit. Bro, Meek, you gotta chill. That's what I think about it. I think Meek is just trying to bully Academics. I think Meek has picked a convenient target for him to take his frustrations out on. I think Meek is going overboard. I think Meek shouldn't have addressed it, acted not accuse Meek of anything. I think Meek should just sidestepped it, took it for what it is, ignored it, and let it be. Diddy's done a great job of this. Diddy has stayed away for the most part of beefing with Ac. Usher hasn't even acknowledged Academics' existence once in his career. I don't even Usher even talks. Usher just shows up and just sings and I don't even think Usher even speaks. Meek, take a playbook out of Aubrey Graham's. Just don't say nothing. Just say nothing. Act like the police are asking you about a crime. Just don't say anything. That's my advice to Meek. Hopefully, Academics and Meek can stop the beef because they're beefing a little bit too hard. They're getting into too much issues. And frankly, I don't want to see this spiral out of control between police showing up to people's homes, threats being made, all of this foolishness. It's got to stop. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. They're calling these boys the cream chasers now. It's crazy. Crazy. Cream chasers is crazy. Meat Mill is crazy. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below.